You still walk with a broken leg, and a poisonous snake is a poisonous snake. What am I trying to say? First of all, I believe that we've been placing labels in the place of people for quite a long time now. So recently, we've been learning about mental health. Why am I? Okay, I swear to God, I did not intend to do this. Whatever. Uh, we have been learning about mental health for quite a while now. Yes, understandable. Great, amazing. But a bad aspect or a bad outcome of that lately has been that we have been learning too much, not from the approach of we're just trying to understand how people operate and we're trying to understand how mental illnesses work, for example, just so we can avoid falling into them or avoid traumatic situations or how we react to traumatic situations that would result in negative outcomes, blah, blah. No. People lately have been taking mental illnesses, trauma, and all these as their identity. Okay? And a huge example of that is Healing Era, which is where I came up with the example that you can still walk well with a broken leg. Because people have been identifying with their pain so much and their trauma so much that it's now called a healing era. And somehow that invalidates your experiences, you know? Because I'm healing. So I'm just going to take everything so slow. So suddenly your experiences are no longer as valid because you are, for some reason now, in your own eyes, you're somebody who's broken and you're still healing. So I cannot get into a relationship right now. No, I'm actually not ready to take on any job. I'm still healing. There's no such thing. Even when you've got a broken leg, you still walk. You still get places. If you're miserable enough to have two broken legs, do you still go places? You still go to places? Yes, but on a wheelchair. Does this invalidate that you've moved from this place to this place? No. Okay? So we've been learning so much about illnesses and stuff that it's doing us bad because now we label people. Oh, you're broken, you're healing. And you're not an asshole. Your parents didn't love you right. No. No. That person can still be an asshole, okay? Knowing about uh, the past of somebody to understand why they are the way they are is not a justification to who they are right now. Which we then come to the point of a poisonous snake is a poisonous snake. Let's say a snake bit you. We all know this example right now. Okay, so again, we don't sit and be like, "Oh my God, man, that snake bit me." I understand. I understand. I understand. Your ancestors, ever since you were young, and you start talking to the snake. Look at this. Look at this lovely poison. I understand. You had no other choice, and you don't sit and talk to the snake about their past and how they were in this little egg and they were all alone. They had no choice but to bite others. No, no. You call a snake a snake. You leave the snake. You go heal. Go get a freaking antidote. And this is exactly what we should also do with people. Even worse, because a snake does have no choice because a snake is a snake, for real. A human always has a choice. You can have things break you and only you get to decide and your true how do we call it? Just your true basis and your true essence. Your nature shows up actually in the hard situations. Two people can go through the same traumatic event. One will come out as a normal human being out of the situation. The other person will be abusive, will be narcissistic, will be all these things, will be envious, and they will always lean back on the, oh man, I just had a tough childhood. No, no. Let's stop labeling people, okay? We learn in order to not fall into the traps, to not fall into mistakes. Understandable. But you don't want to keep placing labels in place of people. Okay? You're not healing. You're a human who went through something and you're fixing that, but you're still living your life. Okay? You don't lose your agency. You don't lose your whole eternity of life experiences just because you've gone through this one thing. Yes, situations can break you, but you can always get up. Okay? Now, the only time I will say, will you delve? I want you to delve too much to experiences and your past is, let's just remember our ancestors when we think that we will not be able to survive a certain thing. They were probably chased by alligators, dinosaurs, and they probably watched each other get chopped up at a certain point. Okay, just get straight up killed. Hmm. Now, this is your potential here. This is your human potential. There's nothing in this world that you can not get out of. No traumatic event. And I know it's hard, but you can always survive. So only delve in your past when it comes to that point of like who survived what, just so I can know when I feel like I'm unable to survive something. Then I go back to the past. Then I over explain, I delve because I want to get out of a situation. Okay, but we don't keep labeling ourselves so much. People are not labels. We're still humans. Okay, this aspect of psychology has just been so broad and it's just been prevailing. So people have been taking everything with like, face value. Yeah, that person is a narcissist. That's it. And instead of, just knowing the patterns, knowing what not to do, they justify and they fall into this some sort of Stockholm syndrome with that person. They be like, yeah, oh my God, I now sympathize with them so much that I I allow them to continue to mistreat me. No, your past does not justify you, okay? It does not justify your weakness, nor does it justify your strength. It does not justify your strength. When you're strong because you're strong. It's not the experiences that shaped you. The experiences just highlighted who you actually were in the beginning. So you don't own anything to your misery, all right? You do not own anything to your misery. Your grief is not your identity. Understand this. Every experience you go through in life just sheds light on who you truly are, on your true value and essence. Nothing made you, nothing broke you. Okay? Yes, things happen to you. Understandable. But you can always, like, everything can be reversible. You can always get back. Okay? But don't justify how people hurt you and their actions and how they mistreat you just because, you know, they're past. A snake is still a snake. And with a broken leg, you can still reach places. Okay, that was my first video because I'm done with editing. So I was like, you know what? Just sit down and brainstorm as much as you can. I did. Okay, I didn't mean to do this, but match with the cup. Okay.